Why, Tom Jones? Because it won Best Picture in 1963.
My, Tom Jones.
Hi and welcome to ABC's Films. I'm Alex, that's Barry. Today we're watching Tom Jones. It's the Best Picture winner from 1963, starring Albert Finney, David Warner, some other people I've never heard of before.
That guy who played Mr. Banks, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know what his name is though.
Neither do I.
Mr. Banks, saving Mr. Banks' career, clearly. Anyway, see you after the jump. Let's see if it's any good.
So, Tom Jones is a movie about a man called Tom Jones he's a bastard child.
Or is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, for most of the film he is.
Yeah. So how it plays out is a rich man gets back from the war.
He gets back from he's a lawyer or squire or something. He's come back from London.
But he gets back to his estate from somewhere, and a woman there, is it his girlfriend?
Sister.
His sister has been made pregnant allegedly made pregnant by the barber. I mean, she's not allegedly pregnant, but allegedly it was the local barber.
No, wasn't it just a servant who initially they thought was the baby's mother, but then it turned out it was his sister at the end. Spoiler
Oh no,
alert.
yeah. I mean, forget that we know the ending.
Yeah, so it was the servant at the start. You thought,
right?
It was like, go away, servant.
Yeah,
Or
just
whatever.
spoiler alert.
Yeah, for a 50-year-old film.
And obviously that is quite scandalous. So he throws it. He says, "I will raise this kid as if it was my own," but everybody is aware that it's not his kid.
One thing that I found really confusing was how the entire estate, how did they know that she wasn't pregnant? Because she had been showing for months. It shouldn't have been a secret that his sister was pregnant. I don't know how they kept that a secret.
Yeah.
Unless she was
It's not his sister. It's just some woman.
This is my point anyway. I don't understand how the deception worked.
I don't remember there being a deception. I just remember it's saying that he got.
Yeah.
It was silent. The first 5 minutes of this film is done like a silent movie, which
with some old timey 1700s piano, which is really cool actually.
But anyway, so he raises his kid as his own, and obviously, I guess the assumption is because he's a bastard, he's
he's a gadabout. He likes to have sex with women and drink, and
he is not a upright gentleman and stuff. He sleeps with loads of whores. He gets one of them pregnant, but then it turns out that he didn't.
But he doesn't know that. He just all that he knows is that she was having sex with someone else at the same time. There's no paternity test. It could have been his.
That's
baby
true.
as
Yeah,
well.
it could have been his.
I have no penis, so it
But,
can't be my baby.
and then he decides to make his way to London, and this movie is basically just hijinks ensue. The movie, right? It's just he decides to go to London, and on his way, he bumps into an army. Hijinks ensue. He bumps into a woman. Hijinks ensue.
Because he gets sent away from the house because he bums around a bit, doesn't? No, because he falls in love with his. There's another family who live close by who's the brother of his father, so it's his uncle, but his bastard uncle, and he falls in love with their daughter, and then they don't like it. His sister-in-law doesn't like it, so he gets sent away by his dad, who's not his real dad, but maybe is his real dad. This is confusing.
It is very confusing. Do you know what it reminds me of? Talking about it now, is it reminds me of Medea. You know, when you're just kind of and then this character does this, but I can't properly place it in my head. It's just a medley of loads of different characters who are all related or maybe not related, who are all kind of sleeping with each other.
Does that happen in Medea?
The related but not related thing. Do you know what I mean? It was all sort of
know.
weird how they all knew each other.
There's a lot of lore behind this, isn't there? There must be. This is kind of I think there's a lot of certainly British things written around that time in the 1700s. It's famous for being farcical.
Yeah.
And this is obviously a farce. This is I don't want to say a modern Frasier, because that's obviously not true. But it's like an episode of Frasier, really, isn't it? People get confused about stuff.
Yeah, it's more like Kenan and Kel.
Yeah.
If everybody just talked to each other,
with
just calmed down and was right, I just did this.
Yeah.
Then it would be all sorted.
With less sex than Kenan and Kel as well.
Yeah.
I loved Kenan and Kel as a kid. Better than this shit.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert! I didn't like it.
I brought you a thrush. beautiful, Tom. How kind of you.
2 years is a long time. Did they teach you London ways and make a great lady of you?
Most of the time I was in France. My aunt took me there.
Hola, did you like France meets Western?
Mais oui, monsieur. Je me suis très bien amusée, merci.
Bon bon.
Okay, so what did you think?
Didn't like it, Barry.
No, I didn't like it either.
Thanks for watching. What didn't you like about it? What was it that...
Well, as like we both stated when we were watching it, it was like a fever dream. It
Yeah.
was like disjointed, I guess, and all over the place, and I didn't give a fuck about any
This
of
is
them.
one of the first films I've watched, like, Best Picture that I've really checked out of. Like, I checked out of Around the World in 80 Days.
Yeah.
Like, halfway into that film, I was like, this is going to be awful all the way through.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the same thing.
Well-
like, to the point that at the end I didn't really know what was going on.
We like stopped paying attention to this film, despite the fact that we were looking at the screen.
Yeah.
Right? We weren't paying attention so much that this film was filmed in our hometown, but we
and
didn't
pieces,
notice.
Which I thought was really strange, because when we were searching this, like, they film bits and pieces in London, and then they get Castle Street to stand in for London.
It does look kind of Londonish.
It looks very
Yeah.
Londony, because it's one of the famous, like, it's a very famous old street, Castle Street in Bridgewater, for some reason.
On your life,
If he swing by the string, he will hear the bell ring. And then there's an end to poor Tommy.
Yeah.
And Castle House is really famous as well, isn't it? For,
Well, it's
like,
because it
old
used to be a
stuff.
castle.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the first castles in the UK. But anyway, like, there was a bit where he's going to get hanged, isn't there? And that's all filmed on the main street. And there's bits of other pieces as well that are kind of
Yeah.
filmed on the same street.
Yeah, and we didn't notice.
I don't
Until I
underst-
looked it up on Wikipedia,
I
I,
don't
was just
underst-
like, shit.
I don't understand how, like, we had a Best Picture winner filmed in town, and I've never heard about this.
I'm
beforehand.
sure I've read about it before, but not like memorized the film because I've
Yeah.
looked up like
Yeah.
anything filmed in Bridgewater,
'Cause
and I'm
it's-
sure that must have come up.
It's because you look at it like Best Picture winner in 1964. You're like, I'm never gonna watch that. You just disregard the
Yeah.
memory, don't you?
We did towards the beginning actually. We were sort of like, I wonder where this is filmed, and I was like, it does look kind of local.
But I was like, it's probably filmed in Essex.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there may have been bits filmed in Essex. It was filmed in London after all, in bits and pieces.
yeah,
I imagine the original novel was probably set in Somerset, if I had to guess.
yeah. There's a lot of Somerset accents,
Yeah.
like exaggerated Somerset
It's
accents.
really hard to understand. Like the what's he called? Tom Jones's uncle, his real uncle. Like he's impossible to understand. The one who's always drunk.
Oh yeah,
With the long
yeah,
hair.
yeah.
Like he
Mr.
is
Bean.
Really, I mean, he was
Yeah.
really hard to understand.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean.
You
He
know,
looks like Rowan
like-
Atkinson.
I noticed in the credits, right, that there was like such and such Atkinson. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's Rowan Atkinson who plays Mr. Bean. And then this guy comes on screen who looks just like and acts just like Rowan Atkinson. So I was like, oh, it must be him. But I looked it up afterwards and it was one of the women.
Yeah.
You learn stuff on
Cool,
this channel.
cool
we try.
story, bro. Guy who looks like Rowan Atkinson's dad isn't actually Rowan Atkinson.
No, I said he looks like Rowan Atkinson. I don't know what Rowan Atkinson's dad looks like.
Probably that guy.
And as for that son of a whore, Jones, if I catch him anywhere near my gal, I'll qualify him to run for the gelding's plate. Down, Miss Love, down.
Even the best of horsemen should avoid the battle. However, the forces of sobriety were gathering in all their strength against our hero.
What did you think of Albert Finney as Tom Jones?
Aside from the fact that he looked like Trump.
He looked an awful lot like Trump, didn't he? Comparison shots.
Yeah, he was okay. But again, I didn't like the character.
No, exactly. That was like the main barrier for enjoying it for me was that
Yeah.
I didn't empathise with the main character at all. I get that you're supposed to be kind of like an exaggerated way that rich people get away with stuff because it is kind of like a farce about how rich people kind of natter and do silly things.
I imagine this might be
so on and so
alright
forth.
if it were a play
Yeah.
from like the 1700s.
It's very much
You
like
know?
a Sheridan play I saw called The Rivals back in Bath because I'm like cultured and stuff. It's very farcical, and I think a lot of things written around the same time are very farcical like that.
Yeah,
'Cause
where
it's
it's kind of
the
like,
style and,
oh,
like-
they're sleeping with each other. Like at one point, he's like bent over a bed in a nightgown,
Yeah,
and
it's
that woman's like, woo.
it's really strange. Like the kind of Best Picture winners we're seeing now in the '60s, like there's a lot of sex. I mean, in The Apartment specifically, which is kind
Yeah.
of like was mentioned that it's an adultery comedy, which is really like a strange thing to get. When did the Decency Code in Hollywood end? Do you know?
The Hays Code. I don't know if it ever officially ended.
But it just kind of, they stopped applying it.
Yeah, the Hays Code is like, I don't know, 10 years after film sort of became really popular. There was like a list of rules that was named the Hays Code that you weren't allowed to break, like decency rules and things like that.
Yeah, so,
and
like,
somewhere along the line that's gone out the window. But there's very definite like pre-code films where women have stockings and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then suddenly it stops.
I'm not like, this was filmed in Britain, wasn't it? It's a British-made film.
It was filmed in town, Alex. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a British-produced film at the very least. So I
Yeah,
don't
it's all
know
British
how would it
actors as well.
apply to British
Oh, I guess it
films?
wouldn't.
Well, I suppose I don't know if it's was it a code on film production or film release? Like, they wouldn't release a film if it had such and such elements in.
I don't know.
No,
I don't even know how it was enforced. I'm not even sure it was a legal thing. It might just be like, you know, the rating system.
Yeah.
It's not legal,
Like
but
something
no
they would buy
cinema will
into.
put it.
Yeah, quite possibly. Like an R rating in America. Like, you can do it, but no one's going to release it.
Yeah, no, NC-17.
Is that it?
Yeah, R rating you
Yeah.
can take kids into.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but it's very like, The Apartment definitely breaks like a lot of rules. I don't know I don't have the rules memorized, but The Apartment breaks loads of them. This
Yeah.
one breaks loads of them. But then you go back to like It Happened One Night,
Yeah.
which is
and it's-
pre-code, where she like stops a car with her stockings,
Yeah.
and like
Which
so
is
I don't
fantastic.
I don't know exactly.
Do you mind if I try?
You? Don't make me laugh.
Oh, you're such a smart Alec. Nobody knows anything but you. I'll stop a car and I won't use my thumb.
What are you going to do?
It's a system all my own.
Okay, two scenes that I want to talk about.
Okay, go ahead.
One is the food scene.
That was excellent.
There is a scene in this film where Tom Jones, on his merry like walkabouts, has come across this woman who's tied to a tree, and presumably she's been raped or is about to be raped. So he saves her, takes her to a local village, gets her all dressed up, and they sit down to eat. And it's 3 or 4 minutes of them just eating different food and looking at each other.
In a sexual fashion.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of sexual, but like,
Well, she's kind of tonguing a chicken bone at one point.
I
so it's
wonder
kind
if
of-
it was supposed to be funny.
Yeah, because they had different food in front of them, didn't they? So
Yeah.
it felt like there was no like servers or anything, so it was just like he had a bowl of like pears, and then he would have like some chicken, and then he would have some potatoes or something.
But I don't see how it's funny.
And
And
is doing
isn't
it sexually.
But not even like, oh, this is an old film they found, because like The Apartment was like
Yeah.
2 years before this, and that film's hilarious throughout.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get.
Something to do with gluttony.
Yeah. And it's not like, you know, in Hot Shots where they've got the sex scene with the food and he like fries an egg on her stomach and stuff. Like, it's not.
Are you saying Hot Shots is funnier than this?
Than Tom Jones, yes.
yes, it is. I like that scene though. I thought it was like that was kind of.
What, you like the
inventive.
scene in Tom Jones? Or?
Yeah, I like the scene with
Alright.
Tom Jones. I think it was kind of inventive at the very least. It's like, oh, that's kind of. I see what they're going for there. It
Yeah, I
wasn't
guess.
funny.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, with
didn't-
some of the other
I didn't
ones you
laugh.
couldn't.
Yeah,
Oh, 3 scenes actually, because I just thought of another one.
the rape one.
No, that was the yeah, but
That's really important.
the
that's
in between one
Okay, go
is
ahead.
the hunting scene,
Oh yeah.
which I've read online is like
Yeah,
is
characters.
really well regarded. People like think it's a great scene. I thought it was terribly shot. It was just weird. Like, there's this horror movie called Society, and spoilers, but kind of spoilers. But towards the end, like, shit goes down. It just like breaks loose, and people like start putting their hands inside people's stomach and stuff, and you're watching it like, what the fuck? And that's what I thought in this scene, where they're just hunting this deer for like 4 or 5 minutes.
An antelope, yeah.
It was a deer.
It's called Charles Antelope, the deer.
And then they catch it, and like then it's savaged by dogs. Like, a guy holds its like head up whilst it's got like a slit throat and stuff, and they were like, ha 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 ha. And then it just cuts away and the film carries on. Like, I couldn't fathom why it's in there.
Well, I mean, like the blonde one, the main actress in the film. What's the character called?
Molly?
Molly, quite possibly. Maybe I'm thinking of the Little Dicky song because it's in my head.
But I said it.
Yeah, maybe I'm we're the same person, Barry. Well, we were talking about it yesterday, weren't we? So maybe
Yeah.
you've got it in your head. Anyway, like her horse gets spooked after they catch the deer and they run off, and then Tom Jones goes after her, and then they have a little moment.
Oh,
I guess
yeah,
that
yeah.
was
But
kind of
was
the point
there
of that
a
scene.
need for... I think it was just they wanted like an action scene.
It's
I guess.
rich people doing rich people shit. That's what this film
Yeah.
is. So it's kind of like, what do rich people do in Somerset? I imagine it's filmed in Somerset, or set in Somerset at the very least.
That was the bit
So-
where we both sort of like were saying
Yeah.
like, oh, it kind of looks local.
I thought the scene could have been interesting, but you're right. It was kind of the way it was shot. It almost felt like the film was sped up, and also like
and the camera was obviously, because they did. I don't suppose they had, I don't know when Steadicam was
Yeah.
created, but like it was all over the place. There certainly weren't any dolly tracks or anything.
But it's kind of impressive as well because it's like it's not filmed in a set. It's filmed like outdoor in the Somerset countryside. So imagine it's harder to film that than something like Ben Hur.
The
which you can
the
set up
opening
tracks
aerial
for and
shot
everything.
at the start of it was cool because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this can be good, but
Yeah.
no, it wasn't.
Nothing much happened, but I mean, I suppose maybe as an example of what hunting may have been like in the 1700s, it might be quite accurate.
Yeah, I guess.
quite
I mean, some
interesting.
people would be like, well, it's chaotic because it would be chaotic, you know.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the third scene I was going to mention. In this film, right, the guy who plays Mr. Banks in Mary Poppins is talking. He wants to sleep with this girl, and he's talking to a woman saying, "No, she keeps like, she's not into me. She keeps telling me no." And the woman says to him,
Fire upon it. Have more resolution. Are you frightened by the word rape?
"What's the matter? Are you afraid of the word rape?"
Yeah.
And then the next scene is him trying to force himself on this girl, and it's like wacky.
I don't know what to say about it really.
It was so weird because you've got like the only film I know this guy from is Mary Poppins,
Yeah.
and it's Mr. Banks running around trying to rape some woman, and it's not played like he's a bad guy.
How does that scene resolve itself? I can't remember. I checked.
People
that.
come in
Yeah, and he's like.
because
"Oh,
I
stop
think she
raping
starts
her."
shouting rape. There's a couple of scenes where girls just start shouting rape.
Let go of my hand. I will never see you again.
Madam, we must make the best use of this moment.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
I don't have anything to say because I don't feel like I have to sit here and be like, and that scene is wrong, and here's the reason why. Like, it's just like, what the fuck?
But I imagine it was in the original novel again, wasn't it? It's kind
Maybe.
of, it's very much like Gigi, because that scene in Gigi where it's
The
like, oh,
suicide.
you had your first suicide, well done. It's kind of like rich people being dicks.
Yeah.
Again, that's like the running theme throughout this thing. Is like, you try raping her, because
Yeah.
But that's probably what they did back in the day.
Sure, but you would like
know,
to
'cause
think
you can get
that
away
if,
with it.
like, say they were making Tom Jones today, right, and they
Yeah.
had that scene, that guy would be playing as a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's not in this one. It's like just like fun hijinks.
Maybe it's like subtly condemned. I don't think we're meant to look at it and go, yeah, that's cool. I don't think that was the impression.
It's definitely not shown like.
That guy's not
it's not glorifying
Yeah.
it for sure, but it's not.
He's not successful at anything. He's not successful at it.
He's not successful, isn't
Yeah, but you know.
It's all right unless you.
But I don't think, obviously,
actually
like a
rape them.
filmmaker doesn't have to have evil music playing in the scene.
No,
he
it doesn't have to be like. Yeah, that's a fair point. but at the same time,
But
so
maybe
I don't
it's-
want to say it's glorifying.
No,
it, that's
maybe it's
stupid.
supposed to show that the other woman is morally compromised. The guy that Tom Jones is sleeping with
know.
for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think it goes that deep. I
He's
think
just
they just
banging
wanted to have a
around.
rape scene in it.
I kind of feel like, again, the original novel might have explained this a lot better. Or
Yeah,
we
but
just stopped paying attention.
We didn't read the novel. Did we?
No,
We watched
exactly.
the film, and the film
Yeah.
didn't explain it very well.
Come on, you. Come on. Get up. I can't afford for you to lie here idle any longer. Get out and follow them rascally friends of yours. You soldiers call yourselves gentlemen, but it's we who have to pay for you and keep you too, for that matter.
I get the impression there may be some depth to this film that like we didn't really clock, quite possibly.
I'd be very interested to speak to somebody who gets it.
Yeah, absolutely.
To have them go like, no, you're an idiot, and then actually show.
I was looking for like good pieces about it online, and I couldn't really find any. Like to
I
kind of
found
explain-
references to people saying it was good.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
to
obviously
people
it
saying, like, you know, oh, this is a good film, but nothing...
With like every film we've watched for Best Picture in the '60s, you can see why it won. Like initially, like this, like
Yeah.
you can see why the apartment won because it's really funny. What was 1961? I can't remember. Was it a musical?
West Side Story.
Was 1961 West Side Story?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so this is 60. Oh no, so Lawrence Arabia was 62. Anyway, West Side Story was really impressive.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It was really well shot. The music was incredible. You can see why that won.
Yeah.
Lawrence of Arabia, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. This.
Lawrence of Arabia is a definite watch once film,
Yeah.
but watch it. Everybody has to see it.
This is just a weird winner. It
Yeah,
really
I have
is.
no idea why this won. It seems
No.
like an amateur production.
We were looking at what else was nominated that year as well. It was Cleopatra, which I haven't seen
Cleopatra.
in the longest time, but is like one of like Hollywood's most famous flop, I think, isn't
Yeah.
it? But
Well, I mentioned it to my dad earlier, and he was like, "God, that cost loads."
yeah, that's what it's
Yeah,
famous for.
yeah.
It's famous for losing loads of money and being the most expensive. film of the
I
time.
haven't seen any of the other films that were
No.
nominated for Best Picture.
But this is just really strange.
Yeah.
And the quality, like as far as I could tell, wasn't particularly great. And you know, we're in good company because Tony Robinson, the guy who directed the film, says subsequently that he wasn't particularly happy with the end product.
Yeah,
And he
when the
cringes
director
when he
of a film
watches.
says it makes him cringe when he watches it.
Yeah. But also, it seems to be really popular with certain segments of people. So I don't know. I don't like dismissing a film out of hand when I'm watching it, and even after I've kind of not liked it, especially when it's well regarded like this. I like to think maybe there was something to it.
Yeah.
But I just don't get it.
I'm
not
no,
into it.
I didn't get it. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
And this is what Mr. Allworthy is saying to Mr. Weston. My friend, Mr. Fitzpatrick, has now recovered and is no longer charging Tom with robbery.
Oh, I couldn't be more pleased if he were my own son, which, it may surprise you to know, he's not.
Mr. Allworthy's own sister, Bridget, who was Tom's mother. And I, the one who put the baby in the squire's bed. And that is what it says in the letter.
So that was our review of Tom Jones. Neither of us liked it. You probably won't like it, depending on who you are. You might like it, depending on who you are. Join us in the next 2 weeks for Lupita.
Laputa. You keep naming.
We're just going to sit down and watch Lupita Nyong'o.
And watch all of her films. I really like her.
Yeah, I do.
She's fantastic in 12 Years a Slave.
Mm.
It's kind of a thing, really.
Everybody is.
Yeah. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
How long did it take you to learn that?
I don't think I pronounced his second name right.
Oh, right. Yeah, it could be wrong. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, Chiwetel.
Chiwetel.
He's
the bad guy in Serenity.
Is he really? Oh. I see why.
And 12 Years a Slave.
Every night I bring her Frankfurter sandwiches, Frankfurter sandwiches. Oh, my baby loves those Frankfurter sandwiches, Frankfurter sandwiches. I try to win her with candy, ice cream and custard. But how she likes hot dogs with mustard.